But yeah, I need to go in on the Pi 5 Pyandons mod that I have at this point, and get rid of the doohickey. I could actually just do that now, and we can restart. But thing is, when the game restarts with this number of mods, using this much memory, it causes some audio issues. There's some audio stuff that happens when the PC uses 100% of its assets. Why am I using the stacking 5 and not 4? Because that's just what I started this map with. Why would I change in the middle of playing through a map? I started the map with 5, and I'm sure that 4 has been updated. I've seen that 4 has been updated to likely include all the stuff that's in 5, but that's just what I started the playthrough with. And I don't know what would happen if I tried to migrate to 4. I am uncertain. Has 4 removed its dependencies? So Immortal, what we're talking about here, I have to go to my mod list to show this, but what I'm talking about here is deadlock stacking 4 Pyandons versus 5. 5 is someone went and modified 4 to add more stuff, more of the pyro intermediates in particular. I have 5 because it specifically adds a bunch of the intermediates for pyro. But 4 is like the base version. That's it, and it's still 4 Pyodons is still requiring all of the Pi suite or Pi coal processing in particular. The other stuff is listed as optional dependencies, but they're still dependencies. So even if you have these, it's still going to do all of its stuff after these, right? So you still need to get rid of the dependencies on the Pi suite for it to properly work with the voiding. I could test this. I could just do this change. So yeah, this is what we're talking about here with the 5 versus 4. 5 isn't actually technically a mod in the mod portal. I can click this link. It's a 404 error. It's not actually a mod in the mod portal. It is a zip file posted in the thread, in the forum thread under deadlock stacking for Pyandons mods. It's just one of the posts later on in the thread, like page 12-ish. And I got it specifically because it added a lot of pyro stuff. My question is stacking 4 updated to the point where it has all of the raw ores intermediates? Because if stacking 4 Pyandons has the pyro intermediates in it now, then I'm more inclined to use it. Like, very specifically, I need it for processed iron. That is the point there. So while I'm here, we could test. While I'm here, I can go into my mods folder, bring up deadlock stacking 5 Pyandons. What version is this? 1.2.0. Okay, so this is loading from a folder that I already have. info.json, and let's get rid of like all of these things. It needs the belt boxes and loaders, so let's get rid of PyCol. I can leave the standard library in there. That alone would keep things going just fine. Yeah, just get rid of all that. And that should be good, so I have to now restart the game. Let's see if what I just did had any effect at all. Let's see if we error. Will we error? This is a great thing. So I left in the dependencies for the deadlocks, belt boxes, and loaders, obviously, as well as for standard library. So we're checking sprites. We're checking sprites. We're doing the thing. We're loading sprites. We are loading sprites. The sprites be loading. You can do it. We're in. And just gonna check the mod list. Go to deadlocks 5 pyandons. See, I got rid of those dependencies manually. Continue. And we should see. Does it give you the pop-up when it adds recipes? If so, we should just see. No, so it doesn't do that. I might actually have to do a. Do I have to do a reset on that? If I do a search for stacked, or do a search for pure sand, stack of 5, void key. There it is. There it is. We can void stacks of pure sand. It's there. It exists. It exists. There's our proof. Proof that all you need to do is remove the dependency for the Py suite, and it just magic. It's magic. It works. Just remove the dependency to the Py suite. Coding. It's functional now. That means we could also do like a search for processed iron stack, and can see we can void this. We can void stacks of processed iron. Yay! We can do a search for gravel. The stack of gravel. Hey, it can be voided now. It can be voided now. So previously this key here, this void recipe, did not exist when it was a dependency. So yay, stuff things. We are also totally done with Aramid, just for reference. We are totally working on unslimed iron now. So hey, I can void the thingy. The thingy-madoohickey. Car is there. Vehicle! Let's do the thing. Yeah, multi-purpose pipes are just gonna be delivered slowly over time as they are being made. Are they actually... I just want to check the production on the multi-purpose pipes. Hello, Ave. Hello. We are absolutely assembling machine limited here. Right. So I'm just going to paste that down a few more times. A pump jack buff is incoming. What is our pump jack buff going to actually be? Because my suggestion was totally to turn them into drill head consumers and get rid of all of the small parts on the individual recipes on the pump jacks. I almost got killed. Just for reference. I almost just now got killed. Pi didn't say more than saline. Well, my official suggestion is make pump jacks use drill heads and get rid of the small parts requirements on all of the recipes for the pump jacks. Just have a drill head requirement for the actual pump jack building itself. That's, in my opinion, going to be the best course of action there, because the small parts are simply too expensive to be worth using in the long term. For any of the recipes, like, the last thing you want is another consumer, consistent consumer for your small parts, when there's so many other alternatives that don't use small parts for the same stuff. So if you want to have that pump jack if you want to have pump jack recipes as... Are those blocky things pipes? Yes, they are. Those blocky things are pipes. Say hello, Ave, to the brand spankin' new multi-purpose pipes. The brand new multi-purpose pipes that have a pipe to ground distance of 48 units versus the niobium pipe at 36. It's a 12 unit difference versus niobium. And they require niobium plate, plastic, and rubber. Yes, that is what they need. Niobium plate, plastic, and rubber. That's it. That's all. That's all they need. Niobium plate, plastic, and rubber, but you need blue science to unlock them. They unlock at blue science, but consider that we have bat brains. Bat brains exist. Also, if you... Immortal, if you brought up the stacking here, the fact that I'm totally avoiding stacked stone. I've always been able to avoid stacked vanilla items. I just couldn't avoid the stacked pie sweet items. Stone being a vanilla item, so I could void the stacked stone just fine. Before. Now I can void everything! All of the stacked stuff. Yes, I do think that they need vanadium for some weird reason. I think they need to have something that unlocks that you make at Blue Science. Vanadium is one example of a thing that you tend to make at Blue Science. Just because those pipes come a bit early. In my humble opinion, these multi-purpose pipes arrive a little too soon compared to the regular niobium pipes. When they're only blocked by Blue Science, they end up only being blocked by silver for fetal serum, effectively, at this point. Have I seen how expensive organic vanadium will be? Not really. Haven't paid attention. I haven't looked at vanadium. I haven't really looked at it, but honestly, vanadium itself, that chain loops back a lot. It's like you don't need a lot of input on that chain inherently. It vanadium has actually been a pretty high output system for the input of blood. Like even by default, it's not bad. It's not that bad. It's just it's a chain. It's a very reasonable chain, actually. Yes, now you need a lot of input, okay. Uh, and I'm sure it depends on what specific creature you're using to get the arthropod blood. I'm sure that it differs depending on what type of creature you're using. Zippo might not be the best option anymore. Have you given that a thought, maybe? That perhaps Zippo may just not be the best option for the blood. That's what it used to be. It used to be you only had Zippo as the option to get the blood, but maybe these days it's not the best anymore. We have lots of options. We have Vrauk. We have Vrauk. Vrauk are totally arthropods. We can get arthropod blood out of them. You were looking at the tentacle blob, aka the Zippo. AKA the Zippo. I'm here to grab something. I'm here at the bus specifically so I can grab these. I need a few of them. Just a few. Just a few. So, in case you're coming in at this later point today, I'm just in the process of making unslimed iron. And I have done so by off-screen creating a blueprint book of all of the stuff with which to get to unslimed iron. So I'm slowly building this, building this thing to get to unslimed iron, and into stuff and things later on. After that, so I was looking for what now? Outside of the thing. Pipe is good. I like pipe. Pipe is awesome. Give me all of the pipe. Bring me my pipe that I know I am creating. I have been brought the pipe, apparently. I now have the pipe. Pipe is awesome and amazing, and I like it. Get rid of that coke. Give me more pipe. More pipe! All the more pipe. Maybe not 1,000 on the pipe ground. Yeah, give me regular pipe. Regular pipe is also good. I would like that. And then let's get going. Let us get going. So, yeah, there's lots of options on the arthropod blood now. And there's some creatures that you also have to consider. Some creatures feed on other creatures, so even though they have a high total output, you have to consider what the builds look like once you add in those other creatures as well to feed the system completely. It's a thing. Yeah, gotta consider these things. Okay, have we placed all of this at this point? I think so. Oh goodness, I need to mute that. Yes, mute that site, thanks. That would be great. That would be a bring for the website called user testing. In case you didn't know, I do user testing through the website user testing. Just FYI, I do user testing through user testing. and get paid $10 per user test. If only I could actually get user tests whenever I wanted to, and could do that for forever. Oh yes, I was speaking about the Corlex, the majestic Corlex. I totally call it the majestic Corlex. Made a video about the majestic Corlex. It is very much majestic, and it is actually fairly well balanced as it is, with the key exception of casein to melamine. That is a key exception, and potentially also casein to plastic itself. Might not be the best of outputs for the size of the build involved compared to the alternative methods of getting plastic, but definitely good on the raw fiber. Definitely good on the raw fiber front. That is fine. I am okay with it existing as it is on the raw fiber side of things. Just maybe the plastic slight buff on the plastic would be good. The higher tiers are seemingly okay. Seemingly okay. I haven't really put too much thought into the builds of food. I think the problem with a lot of the higher tier stuff overall in the whole of the Alien Life suite is the effort involved in making food. Like that is I think where a lot of the issues of higher tier production comes into play. Is just the overall cost of making food. Otherwise, the actual tiers and the speed, like speed literally doesn't matter. It's efficiency that matters, and ultimately, it comes down to the cost of the ingredients for the recipes, and yeah, that the food is just incredibly expensive for a lot of stuff. What the hell happened here? This is not how this is supposed to be. What happened here? What happened here? Okay, you're getting all the things in. What happened on my blueprint? Blueprint, wherefore art thou? Okay, so what I did was I did not place this correctly. I placed it. It's hashtag one tile. Or I didn't copy it correctly, maybe. Because yeah, I need to have this will look a little ugly, but there we go. Yup. That's that. Something I think somewhere got one tile off. But okay. Yeah, that is that. Also, shouldn't this be... No, this is all powder. That's all G1. And then this all goes and does its thing. This is our unslimed. Our 9 per second unslimed existent in the end. So, yeah. And I do mention in that video, by the way, that you King are going through all the modules slowly to overhaul the speed and stuff, and how you get the upgraded module tiers. Like, I do mention that in the video that that's being worked on and will be changed. So my focus wasn't so much on the actual speed bonuses per se, like the actual current values of the things for the speed, but just that it gets better with tech level. And with Corlex specifically, the values for the like overall size of the builds are somewhat reasonable as it stands. At least for like 2 per second raw fiber. The most of any one machine is the Tufra that's needed, and it's like 14 Tufra buildings for like a 2 per second on the raw fiber output for that particular recipe that uses the sugar, and most of it is in the production of the sugar. Is there something special about the warehouses, or are they just big boxes? They are just big boxes. They are just big boxes, but when you use them with loaders, they magically become belt balancers. Belt and lane balancers. So I don't need to do any balancing whatsoever if I shove everything into a warehouse. I can do however many in into however many out. And it just keeps it balanced when used with loaders. Like, that's just how that goes. What did I just do? That, apparently. So, yeah, I think we're about ready to start to swap this all over. Yeah, we are about ready to do this swap over. I will need to bring 2 belts of the processed iron up. Because it's a lot. It's a lot of stacked processed iron. It's actually more than a yellow belt of stacked processed iron that this outputs. Just casually. It's like 90 per second of stuff that's produced out of this. 90 per second in total of the processed iron. It's a little nuts. So off we go. We have all this stacked processed iron from our processing of 10 yellow belts. Remember what we're starting with here. We're starting with 10 yellow belts of ore. 10. Like, this is insanity. 10 yellow belts. 150 per second of ore. Getting processed into 90 per second of the stuff there. Now, the question of the day is this enough? Is this enough to process the stone and the gravel that will be inbound once we get through here? So all this is moving. All this is moving. And this is now giving me some stacked gravel. Why is it backing up that lane? Oh, I know. There was a transport belt, I think, that got stuck in there. What did you miss? This. This. Here, you missed this. That's what you missed. The unslimed iron build. And I have officially turned it on. So now we can go up this massive set of stuff and see, hey, we've got We've got the unslimed iron. It is moving. We are operational on the unslimed iron. Hey, I actually did a thing. Relatively quickly. Relatively quickly. I made the blueprint ahead of time. Like, if in case you're wondering, I made the blueprint ahead of time for this entire build in pieces, so that I had it, so I could just place it down, get the stuff needed for it. What do I have that consumes all this iron? It's not so much that consumes the iron. It's that will eventually consume the stainless steel and the super steel. You need an obscene amount of molten iron into molten steel for molten stainless steel and molten super steel. Like, I have this worked out here on this page. So with this, we end up with currently like 640 units of molten iron. Does this mod pack make modules less insane or still ridiculous? Well, most of it cannot use productivity, period. So there's that. The entirety of every single raw ore processing chain from Pyraw ores, none of it can use productivity, period. But it can use speed for the most part. So a lot of stuff does make use of speed module upgrading and beacons, and you can do insane stuff with that, at least. But you can't do it with productivity, which is a shame. But I do have a mod that does add a whole bunch of things. A mod that I made that is available called Productive Pyanodons. And yeah, it adds a whole bunch of stuff to the list of things that can use productivity. And yes, modules are incredibly expensive as well. Yes, there's good reason for them not being in the ore stuff, is there's lots of very interesting math for that. So here's like what we're actually going to be using our molten iron for. We're going to end up with a yellow belt of compressed iron plates, so 75-ish per second. Yellow belt of compressed iron, about 2 yellow belts worth of steel, or 1 red, in the end, and then all the rest is going to go into, like, all of the rest of the iron and molten steel that this is going to end up making, is going to go into the stuff and the things, the stainless and the super eventually. But you might be able to see, hey, that is an absolute F-ton of ferrochromium alloy as well, and this is going to actually consume some iron as well, so it's not actually going to work out like this. It's not actually going to work out all that well like this, but anyway, I need to, like, delete this. Like, this needs to die. This part needs to die. I also need to snip that. I'll let it finish processing the processed iron, but after that I will be switching it over to the other stuffs. And I have builds for... I have a separate thing for the steel. I'm also gonna need, like, lots and 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 lots of coke. Yeah, coke. Maybe I shouldn't. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna put that back. I'm gonna let this keep moving. Oh, hey, that would help.